Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Emergency Management Associates, coming to you from the Area Command, 392 miles west of Kitty Hawk Beach, North Carolina. We want to welcome everybody here to the show tonight. Sorry for the late start. We had some things that we've been looking into to talk to you about tonight, so we're coming on the air just a little bit later than normal. Folks, we do have a lot to talk about. We're going to forego the Pledge of Allegiance and the United States National Anthem tonight. However, the first thing I want to discuss is what happened to our program that we did last night. I got up rather early this morning to an email that said this: "Hi, Ron Tyler. Our team has reviewed your content, and unfortunately we think it violates our medical misinformation policy. We've removed the following content from YouTube. The video from last night." Okay? Look at those letters there, AAR. Those represent After Action Report. Together with the other word there, to the right of that, I believe YouTube thought that that represented medical misinformation. And so they took the program completely down and gave me a warning. I cannot violate their medical misinformation again, or they will take me down. Okay? Again, I'm going to tell you this. If for any reason they take this program off the air, you can find me at Rumble. I tested it again today. Rumble works. I will be going to Rumble very soon. I will not tolerate this kind of malfeasance by YouTube. Never again. They will not rule me, because I refuse to give in to their political BS. And this is what we call political BS. When Biden has told the social media tech giants that they are to school us and make sure that we stay within the realms of Biden's supposed free speech. I'm going to tell you again, I believe free speech in the United States of America and most other countries is non-existent. Non-existent. The First Amendment has gone out the window. I was talking to some people in Canada. This morning, Glenn Beck did a segment with a podcaster from Canada, and he was from Toronto, and he was telling all of us around the world what Canada is doing in regards to free speech. They're limiting it. They're telling people that have podcasts in Canada, you can't do it any longer. They are going to make sure, through an oft neglected, I should say, law that Canada has, they're going to make sure the podcasters stay well within the law and make them check in with the Canada's equivalent to the FCC. They have to check in. And pretty soon, podcasters will not be allowed to speak in Canada. They're just going to do away with them. Okay? It's incredible what they're doing. And that's the way it's headed all around the world. Okay? They're taking it down. It's sad, but they're taking free speech off the rails. Okay? But I wanted to bring that out right at the front of this program, because some of you have been asking me, where did my last night's program go? YouTube took it down and said I had been putting out medical misinformation, which I had not. Okay? They misinterpreted the title of my program last night. It had nothing to do with medical of anything, any kind. But then they make up the rules, their own rules. And Biden tells them what to do. This is another reason why we have to get rid of that lame dipstick in office. Lame, he is. Okay? Anyone that is anybody in the world doesn't even believe Joe Biden can think for himself. The words have to be spoken to him in his ear, and he has to repeat everything that somebody's telling him. And he has to have cue cards in front of him so he can understand what he's supposed to say. And sometimes if he doesn't look at the cue card in front of him, or his, what I call a cheat sheet, he's history. He doesn't even realize what he's doing. Okay? The other day he was in the middle of trying to give a speech, and he didn't even get through the first minute before he failed. And they had to lead him off stage because he couldn't even think. That's not the Joe Biden that used to be around. But anyway, Joe Biden, his policies, his handlers' policies, have got to go. Now, the last bit of politics for tonight. It looks like, and Steve Turley's talking about it, and many other people are talking about it, as well as congressmen in the House of Representatives. They are going to nominate President Trump for Speaker of the House. And as one congressman put it today, regardless of what the lawyers out in the field throughout the country think, regardless of what the Democrats think, because the Republicans are in charge of the House, they will make sure that any rules that they presently have that might keep President Trump from becoming Speaker of the House, they're going to revise those rules to allow President Trump to be Speaker of the House, at least for a short time. Okay? That would allow the House of Representatives to impeach President Biden and get rid of he and Kamala Harris. That would put President Trump back in the White House. We'll see what happens with that. Okay? That's the end of my political speech for tonight. Now, I want to talk about weather. There's a lot of things going on that I thought that you and I probably ought to approach tonight. I want to show you this. This is Philippe. Okay? Philippe right now is a lot further south than this picture would have you believe. Let me turn on and put this video in motion and show you exactly what's going on with Philippe. Okay, you can see that storm hovering off the coast of the United States. It's going to go into New York again. New York is going to get pounded with rain, as well as the entire northeastern part of the United States and going into northeastern Canada, as you can see here. It's going to be quite the storm this weekend. Let me show you this. Okay, look at this. I'm showing you right now where Philippe is. Okay, let me enlarge this so you can truly see what's going on. Thursday, down here at the bottom of this slide, this is where Philippe was yesterday evening. The wind speed was 50 miles per hour. Tonight, the wind speed really has not changed much. It's still hovering around 50 miles per hour down here in Bermuda. As it moves north at approximately 9 miles per hour. Saturday, it will still be out in the ocean. However, the outer bands of the storm are about 34 miles wide in each direction. As this storm gains more power here, it's going to continue to go north. Saturday evening, it will be off the coast of Boston, just barely south and east of Boston. The storm will have gathered some strength. It will now then be at about 60 miles per hour. As it turns into land, it goes into Maine, Delaware, Vermont area, it will still be 60 miles per hour. Sunday morning. Sunday morning as it goes into northeastern United States and eastern Canada here. Okay, that's what you can expect. Now, with that said, there's even more than that we need to show you. Okay, let me show you some more pictures of what you can probably expect from Philippe. Okay, number one, excessive rainfall. From Pittsburgh to New York, up to Burlingame and Albany area, Syracuse, Albany, Burlingame, up into Portland, Maine, Bangor, Maine, and up into Millinocket. Okay? There's a storm that's coming from the Great Lakes, and it's going to push more rain and higher winds into the northeastern part of the United States. Coupled with what we're seeing from Philippe, it's going to push a lot of rain. You guys over here in the eastern United States are going to get nailed. Nailed. New York is going to get nailed again. Okay? What we saw during the past week and a half over in New York with the heavy rains that they saw and the extreme flooding, this is going to only add to the terror and also to the rainfall and the flooding. You people in New York, you need to batten down the hatches. You need to be prepared. Okay? This storm is not going away anytime soon. You need to be prepared right now, immediately. I would say you need at least a week's worth of food minimum. If you have not already been preparing and you have 2 to 3 to 4 months worth of food, you're screwed. Make sure you have at least a week's or more worth of food on the shelves, including water. You can't survive very long without water. Make sure you have your necessities to live for at least a week. Because guys, this is not going away anytime soon. Okay? The lighter green areas are the lighter storms, the lighter rain. The darker green is going to be increased rain, heavy duty rain. Okay? This is not going to be fun at all. This is not going to be fun at all. Tropical Storm Philippe continues to churn north across the southwest Atlantic Ocean. Bermuda is under a tropical storm warning, but after moving past Bermuda, Philippe sets its sights on Maine, which is in the cone of uncertainty. A reminder, the cone only accounts for 2/3 of potential solutions of the center of the storm. Let me bring up the cone here so you can see what I'm talking about. I'm very serious about what we're showing you tonight. You need to be ready. You need to be ready. This is the cone of uncertainty. This only comprises 2/3 of the different computer maps. Okay, the spaghetti models. But you can darn well better believe that this storm is going to hit you. And with 50 to 60 miles per hour winds, you better be prepared. You need to be prepared. I don't know how many times I'm going to have to say this. You need to be prepared. Impacts are going to be felt well outside of this cone of uncertainty. A reminder, again, this cone only accounts for 2/3 of potential solutions for the center of the storm. In other words, the storm itself could move sideways west or out to east to sea. If it goes out east, it's still going to generate a lot of storm surge. Okay, storm surge. What happens when we have storm surge? Higher wave height and impacts along the coast with flooding. Okay? The impacts are going to be felt well outside of the cone. Philippe is going to bring heavy rain and wind to New England. Philippe is now a post-tropical storm, losing tropical characteristics, but it is going to still pack a punch in terms of wind, surf, and rain. So impacts to New England, this weekend especially, remain unchanged. Philippe is moving north with its sights again set on Maine and northern New England as the storm moves closer north. The influx of tropical moisture in combination with an incoming cold front from the west is going to create heavy rainfall and flooding concerns in northern New England today and Saturday. We're going to see heavier rainfall for coastal Maine thanks to Philippe, with heavy rainfall around New York as a result of the cold front. A cold front coming out of the Great Lakes is going to tap into moisture across northern New England to enhance rainfall rates on Saturday morning. Okay? Along with the lift. What is the lift? The lift is weather winds coming off the ocean and lifting up. Okay? The lift along the front will utilize moisture from Philippe to enhance rainfall totals along the Hudson Valley, Champlain Valley, and the Adirondacks of northern New York. Okay? So what I'm saying, be prepared. This is not going to go away, and it's not going to go away anytime soon. I will be talking about that. If there's increased risk than what I'm talking about tonight, I'll be back on the air to tell you about it tomorrow. We're going to be monitoring this storm until it disappears. And it's not going to disappear until at least Monday, and then it will be up in northern Canada and going west-northwest. Okay? Lydia. Lydia is an active system. The National Hurricane Center is issuing advisories on Tropical Storm Lydia. It's located several hundred miles south of the southern tip of the Baja California Peninsula. This is truly a storm to be dealt with. Let me show you this. Before today, Lydia was just spinning out there in the middle of the Pacific out here off the coast of Mexico. Just spinning literally in a circle, not going anywhere. But now the storm has changed. The storm has changed. You can see the cone of uncertainty here. The storm has been spinning and continues to spin, but this time it's going north-northeast. North-northeast. The tropical wave will likely become Max, that's down south of there. I'll show you Max in a few minutes. Okay? But these tropical waves get investigation designations. Okay? And Max, which is south of here, is 9099. Okay? But forecast models here take the center of this storm and it's going to go north-northeast along the Mexican coastline. Okay? Any interest in the Acapulco, Mexico region? What is that? What am I talking about? Acapulco, Zihuatanejo, Manzanillo, the Riviera of Mexico. Okay? This area is going to be under weather watch for potential impacts early next week. Okay? Now, we are still in the middle of the sixth part of the hurricane season. We have just about 1/6 of the hurricane season left, which doesn't sound like too much. It's going to continue here. It's continuing. This storm system here that's south of Lydia, this is EP99. EP99. Invest 99. It's going to be turning into Tropical Storm Max. Tropical Storm Max. And it's going to be spinning out here. It's not expected to go anywhere. The storm is not expected to go much of anywhere. It's just going to spin in here along the coast of southern Mexico for the most part. We really don't think it's going to go much of anywhere. If it does, it's probably going to go inland into Mexico and create flooding and dangerous weather conditions in southern Mexico. Okay? It may go through southern Mexico, and if it leaves southern Mexico, it can go out into the Gulf of Mexico, out into the Caribbean waters. Then that will be an entirely different story. Because right now out here in the Pacific, Max is just spinning out there. It's not really going anywhere. But if it continues eastward, it will pick up steam out in the Gulf of Mexico, because the Gulf of Mexico waters are a lot warmer. That's where Max could be termed very serious indeed. If it spins through Mexico and goes out into the Gulf of Mexico or into the Caribbean, it will be a completely different storm system. We'll keep you updated on the weather in the tropics during the next few days. Now, with that said, there's a lot of other things going on here. A lot of things going on here. I want to take you over into the southern part of the United States. Texas, Arkansas, and Louisiana. Okay? This is where we're into a drought. Because of this drought, we're going to see extreme fire danger in this area through this weekend and into next week. The darkest red there is extreme fire danger, extreme drought. Why? Because things are already crispy critter there. They haven't really had any rain in a very long time. All it will take is a tiny little spark, and this thing will light on fire. I'm asking all of you that live in this area to be very careful. Widespread fire alerts are in effect for the weekend through the central Gulf of Mexico, including Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi, the Florida Panhandle, and much of Georgia. Not only do we have extensive drought conditions that we're showing you here, an incoming cold front from the north at the Great Lakes is also going to spin up and make things even more serious. All it's going to take is some wind and a tiny spark, and we will be in severe deep yogurt with fire. Okay? All it can take is some winds from the north that lead to a spark spreading quickly through dry fuel. Please do not start any fires near dead or dry leaves. And if you see smoke, please report it immediately. Temperatures are also going to drop well throughout this frontal boundary area, and it will feel much more like fall. Northern Alabama will be in the 60s and 70s through much of the region. And that cold system is going to go north into South Carolina and further north into North Carolina and Virginia. This weekend is going to be very weird because we have not seen this kind of weather in a very long time. Again, I'm asking all of you to please be safe out there. Please be very safe. I don't know how strong I need to say this other than to be very, very, very safe. Okay? This is the temperatures for Saturday. Saturday's highs. We've had 80-degree temperatures and 90-degree temperatures over in eastern Texas, over into Louisiana and Arkansas, and even down in Mississippi and Alabama. Those temperatures are going to drop into the 60s and 70s. Okay? Over here to the east, Temperatures are going to be mild 70s and up or lower 80s. Those 70s and 80s are going to turn into 60s and 70s. Right now, today where I live, we had a high temperature of 81. Right now, it is about 64 degrees. Tonight's low temperature is going to be 41. We haven't seen 41 since this time last year. Our low temperatures have been in the 50s. Now we're going to see 41. I'm just warning everybody. There's that cold front coming in. There's going to be wind. And down here, we've had drought conditions. Drought conditions and wind are not funny. This is very serious. Even up into Southern Carolina and North Carolina. We haven't seen rain in almost a month. That's not good. It's not good at all. Even the higher elevations of South Carolina and North Carolina in the Blue Ridge Mountains. Things need to be taken very seriously as to fire danger. Don't pull your car off to the side of the road very far. All it needs is a hot engine or a hot tailpipe to spark a fire. Whatever you do, do not go off-roading. You don't want to cause something where it could kill you or someone else, or seriously injure you or someone else. I'm just giving a word to the wise. Okay? I'm very serious about this. Those along the coast are going to see temperatures in the low 80s, and then it'll drop. Winds from the north will usher in cool air, and overnight lows will be in the 50s to the lower 40s for the most part. That's what you have to look forward to this weekend. And I'm serious, guys. I'm very serious. Okay? Does anybody have any questions about anything we've talked about so far? KF is saying, yep, Lake Norman's getting pretty low. Yeah. I can see a lot of lakes getting lower than they've been in a while. Last year we had some heavy snow, and we had a lot of heavy rain. It brought the reservoirs and the lakes higher. But now with this little bit of a drought, things aren't looking too good right now. Richard Smith is over in eastern Canada, there in Nova Scotia. Another storm on its way to Nova Scotia, yes. You guys are going to get smacked around by Philippe. Tropical storm Philippe. It's not very tropical up there. It's going to be cold and rainy. Cold and rainy. Any questions here? Any questions? I appreciate Demon Catman for being here tonight. We really, really appreciate that. Demon Catman and Heather are here. Thank you so much, guys. We love you very much. Hurricane Heather says her grandson named Max is with her with 2 X's. Max with 2 X's. That's cool. Cowboy Roy Rogers is here in the chat, which I really appreciate. I really like Cowboy Roy Rogers. He's a good guy. He says, make sure you have fire extinguishers and water everywhere. At least 2 in your vehicle. Try to have 1 in each room of your home as well at work. I have 2 fire extinguishers here. 1 upstairs and 1 in the kitchen. This is very important you do that. It's very important that you do that. Any other questions, guys? I'm here to take all of your questions here. We want to make sure we get through this weekend without any real hardships. Okay, if not, let's go on to earthquakes. Well, before we get started on California, I want to go over into the USGS map for a minute. Just for a minute, okay? I want to take you back over into the Izu Islands here. The Izu Islands are continuing to be hit over here, okay? Last night at 9:31 p.m. last night, we had another 6.1 earthquake over here. I'm showing it to you right now. A 6.1 earthquake down here in the Izu Islands. Now, we have a bunch of 5s as well. This is a 5.5. This is a 5.0. This is a 5.0 here as well. Over here, we have a 5.0 there. This is a 4.6. This is another 5.0. We have one 6.1, and we have all these other 5s here. Further southeast, this is a 4.8. A 4.8 here. Then way out here, also on this other trench here. Okay, what is this? The Mariana Trench here. This is the right east side of the trench. Okay, this is another 5.0. This is another 5.1 here. Way down here to the south, this is a 4.4. This is in the Volcano Islands that also belong to Japan. The Volcano Islands of Japan way down here to the south. So we still have a lot of seismic activity down here, and I don't think it's going away anytime soon. Now, with all those 6s we've had, including that 6.1 from last night, fortunately we've not had any more, but that does not mean we won't. When we have seismic activity in clusters like we have here, swarms, that could mean that we may have increased seismicity, in other words, larger earthquakes. Larger earthquakes. Let's keep our ears and heads on a swivel. Okay? A lot of things can change. Hopefully it will die down. But it doesn't look too promising that way. At least we don't have 25 earthquakes out here like we did yesterday and the day before. Okay? We don't have that many earthquakes here now. It could get worse though. Right now we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10. Is it 10 earthquakes here now? Let's see, we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 earthquakes. 12 earthquakes now. It could be so much worse, and I'm thankful we don't have that many here. Okay? Over here, just north of Taiwan. This is a 4.4 northeast of Taiwan here. This is in the Ryukyu Islands, south of Japan here. These islands here between Taiwan and Japan belong to Japan here. That was a 4.4. This is also only 4 miles deep. That's a very shallow earthquake. One of the most shallow earthquakes that I've seen in a while down here. Usually when we see earthquakes out here, it's been very deep. And that's not what we're seeing now. Okay? Not at all. Notice all these non-existent earthquakes here in Indonesia. There's about 20 earthquakes here in Indonesia and also another 5 or 6 over in the Philippines. Again, this agency doesn't give a rat's butt, not a frozen rat's frosty keister, about what's going on anywhere. Over here, Papua New Guinea. Here's another 5.0 earthquake, ladies and gentlemen. Another 5.0. Okay, this is 81 miles north of Lae, Papua New Guinea. 80 miles north of Lae, Papua New Guinea. This is off the coast of Papua New Guinea, and it's right next to a small uninhabited island, I believe. I don't believe that's an inhabited island. There's a volcano right there. Okay? That might have been why we've had that earthquake there today. But there's nothing else going on, which is baloney. There are plenty of other earthquakes there, but this agency doesn't have the huevos to do anything. Over here in Fiji, south of Fiji, this is another 4.3 moderate quake here. This is 297 miles deep. 297 miles deep. Folks, because this is as deep as it is, it's not hugely deep, but it's still deep. It's down in the asthenosphere, which is the plastic magma beneath the ground that we walk on. The ground that we walk on is called the crust of the earth. At any point in time, the crust of the earth is anywhere from 39 miles thick to 69 miles thick. Because this is as deep as it is, this is going to cause a 4.8 to 4.9 magnitude earthquake. It's only a 4.3. But because it's not hugely deep, okay, I'm talking 330, 400 miles deep, 500 miles deep. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. This is not there. This is going to cause a larger earthquake, yes, but only probably a 4.8, 4.9 magnitude earthquake. Okay? Today we had another moderate earthquake over here in New Zealand. But again, the agency's not showing it to us. One day they'll show us a moderate earthquake here in New Zealand, and the next day they won't. It's ridiculous. It's totally ridiculous what the USGS does and does not do. Okay? That's there. Let's go over here eastbound. Okay? USGS is showing us one lousy earthquake here in South America. Okay? This is near Vallenar, Chile. Vallenar, Chile has had significant earthquakes here for about 2 or 3 weeks now. This is only a 4.6 moderate earthquake here. This one's also only 4.2 miles deep. Isn't that interesting? Isn't it interesting? But folks, what you need to know is there are about 18 other earthquakes here in South America. Between Chile, Peru, and over here into Colombia. Yes, Colombia, guys, there's several earthquakes here that they're not talking about. Going north, just south of Panama. Just south of Panama. This is over into the southeast ridge off the coast of Colombia, off the coast of Panama here. This is a 5.4 large earthquake. A mid-range 5.4 large earthquake. This is 6.2 miles deep. 6.2 miles deep. Demon Catman, you're absolutely right. Demon Catman just told Ray Spur here in the chat, using PayPal is better than YouTube. YouTube takes a third of a super chat. Yes, they've taken up to a third of a super chat before. Okay? So you guys want to use PayPal or Venmo to send me support? I would love that. I would love that. Thank you for that. Thank you so much. We appreciate that. Or you can send us support in a card or a letter. Make sure the paper is wrapped around a check. If you send a check, make sure it's disguised so nobody can see what it is. If you send a card, put it in the center of the card. We really appreciate that. Okay? Here's a 5.4 earthquake just south of Panama and just north and west of Colombia here. We've had earthquakes here before. It's not too surprising. We've had 4.5s and 4.8s here. We've had some 5s here as well. Today, a 5.4 earthquake over here off the coast of Panama. There's other earthquakes also over here off the coast of Costa Rica, Nicaragua, El Salvador, and over here in southern Mexico. There's about 15 other earthquakes over here in southern Mexico. But again, this agency doesn't give a flying rat's butt what's going on. They don't want to tell anything of what's going on. Heck, they hardly say anything about here in the United States. They show less about Europe, which is sad. Over here in the United States, along the New Madrid Fault, this is a 2.0 in Ridgely, Texas. A 2.0 magnitude earthquake, minor earthquake in Ridgely, Texas today. This one here is 5 miles deep. Okay? North of there, this is southeastern Missouri. This is a 2.4 earthquake here. Yesterday we had a 2.1 over in Marston, Missouri. Now we have this one here that's a 2.4. Increased activity here along the New Madrid Fault. Okay? We go west. This is another one here, Velma, Oklahoma. This is not the first time we've had earthquake activity in Velma, Oklahoma. We've seen recent activity here quite a bit lately. Okay? This one is a 2.4. This one is also a 2.4. Let's zoom in here. What do we see here? Off to the right of this earthquake, we have a pump and jack here. Right there. Oil and gas being pumped out of that plot right there. Okay? Further south, what do we have? More oil and gas pump operations right here, for example. Okay? I see 4 pumping operations there. Further off to the east, look what we have here. Even more pumps and jacks over here. Okay? Pumps and jacks north of there as well. Pumps and jacks all over this area. This is both of these earthquakes here in Oklahoma, near Velma, Oklahoma. They're pumping oil and gas. Oil and gas quakes here. All right? All right, let's continue on here. Over here in Texas. This is Midland, Texas. We've seen earthquakes here in Midland, Texas before. This is also 1.6 tremor. Oil and gas. Oil and gas there in Midland, Texas. We go further west and southwest. This is Toya, Texas again. This is a 2.4 earthquake. 2.4. 2.5 miles deep too. 2.5 miles deep. Folks, if you already don't know, when we have people that drill into the earth for oil and gas, they have found oil and gas 6 to 10 miles deep. So it's not unusual to see these earthquakes that deep because of oil and gas. This is an oil and gas earthquake over in Toya, Texas. I can zoom in here and we can pick out oil and gas pumping operations all over this area. This is an oil and gas quake. Pumps and jacks all over this area here. You can pretty much see it as well. Okay? Any questions about any of that? Not Your Mama B. Creed says, if Mr. T is Speaker of the House, will this have any adverse effect on his presidential candidacy? He says no. He says no. I'm going to keep this map up here because I want to talk about California next. Okay? But let's talk about Mr. T now. Mr. T got some satisfaction yesterday out of the judge that reduced his liability for what the New York DA said he was guilty of. Okay? This is a financial thing with Mr. Trump on this. The DA is trying to close down Mr. T's financial holdings in New York. The judge said that they may order Mr. Trump's companies to be sold off to the highest bidder to pay the court costs. He said he may order Mr. T's properties to be sold off to the highest bidder. I don't think that's going to happen. Okay? I'll tell you why. Because the judge has no power to do that. The judge cannot order Mr. Trump's properties to be sold off to the highest bidder just because he wants to. If he was to order that, Mr. Trump would file an appeal. And the judge might be out of a job after that because he knows for a fact that he has no power to do that. Besides that, the district attorney, okay, this woman attorney there, district attorney there, thinks that she's God. And she also has said, oh, Mr. Trump has lied about the value of his properties. Yes, Mr. Trump slightly inflated the cost of his properties. However, what has happened here? When he's wanted to go out and mortgage this or that property to buy more properties, to get more money, what bank is going to loan anybody any money unless the bank or the lender decides how valuable the property really is? They're going to hire their own auditors, aren't they? They're going to audit those properties to see exactly how valuable they are. Yes, Mr. Trump did, in some cases, say that the properties were worth more than they were. But quite frankly, there are no victims in this supposed crime. If there's no victims, there's no crime. So the district attorney has filed these charges against President Trump. They're ill-founded. They're ill-founded. They're against, what the district attorney has done is against the law. The district attorney has violated Mr. Trump's rights. And even if that judge did tell Mr. Trump to sell off his properties, there would be an appeal filed immediately. So Mr. Trump's properties would not lose anything. The judge has already ordered Mr. Trump's business licenses to be revoked, so he can't do business in New York. That also is going to be appealed because there's no victims here. The banks got their money. Every time Mr. Trump has gotten a bank loan or had anybody put out any money as a front for Mr. Trump to do business, to build new buildings on properties or whatever, or enhance the value of a property, Mr. Trump has paid his bills. There are no victims here. If there's no victims, there's no crime. It's all crap. It's all crap. Okay? These wicked lawyers are just trying to make Mr. Trump's life a little more hellish prior to the election. It's called election interference. And these lawyers and judges are going to spin their heads on a swivel when Mr. Trump gets through with them. No, the Senate and the House of Representatives cannot go back against the legal system. They cannot go after the judges or the district attorneys. However, if Mr. Trump were to become the House Speaker, he could get rid of President Biden and Kamala Harris, and he would then be third in line for the presidency, and he would be put into the presidency, which would, in that case, put him in a position where he would exonerate himself. He'd make those crimes go away. It wouldn't matter whether they're in Georgia, whether they are in New York or Washington, D.C. Those crimes would then just go away. Okay? These people that have brought President Trump up on crimes, they need to have their heads examined, including that dirtbag down in Georgia and Mr. Smith in New York, the State Attorney General Smith in New York. What has he done? Okay, again, he's trumped up charges, excuse the pun. He's gotten those charges because he thinks he can put Mr. Trump in prison. And that's exactly what they want to do. They talked about putting Mr. Trump in Rikers prison, one of the most dangerous and most infamous of prisons in New York. Guess what? It's not going to happen. Mr. Smith's trial against Mr. Trump, it cannot even begin until next March at the earliest. Something else that you might not know. There are 12 million pages, 12 million pages of evidence and documents that the district attorney and the state attorney general have put against Mr. Trump. Now, if I were Mr. Trump's lawyer, I would go to the judge and tell him, you cannot expect me to try to defend my client with over 12 million pages of documents that I have to go through between now and March. It's literally impossible. No attorney can go through 12 million pages of documents between now and March. Not even now and 2 years from now. Okay, you see what I'm saying? This district attorney and the state attorney general in New York, they're dreaming. They're dreaming. They're trying to bring Mr. Trump up on charges, and they've got so much supposed evidence or documents that they want to tie Mr. Trump's attorney's hands and say, we can't do this. They want to go after Trump without an attorney. That's against the law. These attorneys think that they can do whatever they want. They can't. They also have to abide by the law themselves. In the worst possible scenario, Mr. Smith, and I don't remember what the state attorney general there is in New York, I don't remember his name. The two of them could wait until March and then grab Mr. Trump off the street and throw him in Rikers. They can't do that. Mr. Trump is a former president. He's also surrounded by Secret Service. Secret Service are not going to allow Mr. Smith or anybody else to grab President Trump and put him in a prison cell. not going to happen. Not in their wildest wet dreams. Not going to happen. Okay, you see what I'm saying? They've got all this stuff cooked up. It's a boiling cauldron of crap that they're throwing out there. They think that the more stuff that they have there thrown up against the wall, that some of it will stick. Guess what? It's not going to happen that way. They can't throw Trump in prison. He's a former president. They would have to put Secret Service in prison with the president. The Secret Service is not going to allow that to happen. And besides that, okay, what else has happened? What else has happened? We have a president of the United States that's up to his nose and head in crime himself. He is the one that he and his Attorney General have ordered all this stuff to happen. They've ordered it. So all the eyes of the world are on President Trump and not them. That has backfired. That's backfired. The House of Representatives is bringing up impeachment orders on Biden right now as we speak. Biden's in trouble. So is his son. His son appeared before a attorney today, and they're dickering around wondering, well, maybe we should just make these charges go away. Okay? Mr. Hunter Biden. These are gun charges. These are gun charges. Mr. Biden bought some guns when he was under the influence of cocaine. Now he's apologized to the judge. Oh, I'm sorry, Your Honor. When I did that, I was all messed up. I was not even thinking straight. I'm sorry I did that. And so they're trying to get his hand slapped. Oh, poor baby, don't do it again. Mr. Biden is somebody that has a lot of other criminal things going on around him. And they're trying to exonerate Hunter Biden. Okay? What else is going on? He's had his hands literally oiled and patted by our enemies of our country. Russia and China and Ukraine have all paid Hunter Biden. And not just Hunter Biden. Hunter Biden's entire family. His great niece works for the Justice Department. Yeah. Mr. Big Guy himself, the President of the United States, Joe Biden, has had his hands greased as well, up to the tune of $25 million that he's extorted from China, Ukraine, and Russia. Remember, before and during President Trump's term as president, all you heard was Russia, 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 Russia collusion. Oh, President Trump's in bed with Russia. Bullcrap. The real story was Joe Biden and Hunter Biden in collusion with Russia and Ukraine and China. Okay? That's what's really happened. Biden and his cohorts, Biden and his entire administration are up to their ears in trouble. And it's coming out. It's slowly coming out. I have a feeling that within a very short time period, Biden's administration is going to come apart. And the people are going to be leaving Biden's administration in droves because they know that the government is going to come after them. Yeah. And the court system is going to come after them as well. We just had a 4.3 in Indonesia, not Indonesia, over in the Izu Islands again. A 4.3 this time. This is the lowest magnitude quake I've seen in the Izu Islands. So that might be a good thing. Okay? Richard Smith told us about a 2.0 over in Hawaii. That's over in Pahala, Hawaii. Pahala, Hawaii. Real briefly. Okay? Let me redo this map here. USGS is taking this map and frozen it. So we're going to unfreeze it here. Let's go over to Hawaii real quick. Okay? I want to show you guys what's going on here. That's not Hawaii. This is Hawaii here. Okay, I thought that earthquake would be over in Pahala. This one is actually at Kilauea. Okay, this is a 1.8 that just hit on the Hawaiian island here. Let's zoom in here. I want to show you this. All of these earthquakes are just south of Kilauea. Okay, all of them are south of Kilauea. The only one that's right at the crater rim here, this is a 1.9 2.0 here on the southern rim of Kilauea. All of these earthquakes here are due to magma going into Kilauea volcano. All these earthquakes here are caused by magma going into Kilauea volcano. There were just barely 13 earthquakes here this morning. Look at all the earthquakes here. Okay, all these swarms have increased since 9 o'clock this morning when I checked the last time. Okay, all these earthquakes, swarms of earthquakes, are hitting here because there's magma leaving Pahala here. Magma leaving Pahala here. This is Pahala. Okay? As I have explained before, there's a huge magma plume down in the deep South Pacific. Let's just briefly go there really quick so I can show you what I'm talking about. Way down here in the deep South Pacific down here. There's a huge magma plume coming up from the deep parts of the earth here. Okay? A huge magma plume coming into the crust of the earth. This magma plume is supplying magma to all the volcanoes around the world. Okay? There's magma chambers going all over to the volcanoes. There's a magma chamber going over here to the Big Island. Okay? That magma chamber is connecting to Pahala here. Pahala is like the gas station here at the Big Island. It's diverting magma to all the volcanoes around here. Notice there's some earthquakes off the coast here. This one is at Nalahue. This is an under seamount volcano. A 2.7 earthquake at Nalahue today. North here, this is over here off the coast of Pahala. It's a 1.8 tremor. Down here, okay, this is south and east of Fern Forest. This is a 2.3 earthquake. A 2.3 earthquake. All these other earthquakes here are Pahala earthquakes. This is a 2.0. This is a 2.1. This is another 2.1. This is a 2.3 here. Over here, this is also a 2.3. This here is a 2.3 as well. This is the distribution point for magma to all the volcanoes. As we just showed you, we have a couple recent earthquakes over here to Kilauea. All these earthquakes are magma going towards Kilauea. Now, I'm a little bit surprised we don't have any earthquakes over here at Mauna Loa. The only earthquake we have anywhere close to there is 1.8 here. This is over here on the southeastern slopes of Mauna Loa. The southeastern slopes of Mauna Loa. This is only a 1.8 here. Now, they're not showing us everything. If I were to pull up the seismograms from Mauna Loa, you would see earthquakes here. USGS doesn't want us to see them. Mauna Loa is also shaking here. Up here to the north, here's another volcano. This is Mauna Kea. If I pulled up seismograms from Mauna Kea, there'd be even more earthquakes at Mauna Kea than at Mauna Loa. It's a fact. I've shown that before here. There's another volcano that most people don't even recognize. This is over here at Hualalai. Hualalai. Over here in the central western part of the Big Island. Hualalai volcano. Hualalai volcano also has a few earthquakes here as well, but not as many as Mauna Kea and Mauna Loa or Kilauea. Okay? But I'm guaranteeing you there are earthquakes all over this island because of volcanic action. Magma down beneath the surface of this island. Okay? It's happening. It's happening all over the place. Okay? That's what's going on there. Let's go over here to the Pacific Northwest really quickly. I want to show you about an event that happened earlier here. Okay? This is just northwest of Mount Rainier. This, folks, is a 1.0 tremor near Coronado, Washington. Coronado, Washington. This is the northwest flank of what? Mount Rainier. The lower northwest flank of Mount Rainier. That's why this earthquake happened. There's magma down here. I could pull up the seismogram at Coronado. Yes, there's a seismograph over here. I could pull up a seismogram showing you more earthquakes than this. Okay? They're all over here. I don't give a flying rat's butt what USGS says here. It's all lies. If they were to put up earthquakes here, they're on the seismograms, they would be all over this place. USGS can't tell the truth if their life depended on it. The management of USGS couldn't tell the truth if their lives depended on it. They just can't. They don't know what the truth is. Plain and simple. I'm going over here into Alaska really quick. I want to show you some things that are going on here. Okay? Over here. This is just northwest of Anchorage. Note where this earthquake is. This is in the river. This is in the river mouth that flows into the Cook Inlet here. The Cook Inlet here, guys. This great big body of water here. This is called the Cook Inlet. A river flows out of the landmass here in Alaska, going into the Cook Inlet, doesn't it? Guess what? This earthquake I highlighted, this is from 10 o'clock this morning. This is a 4.2 earthquake here just northwest of Anchorage. This is Anchorage right here. This is Anchorage, Alaska right here. That earthquake is just northwest of Anchorage in this river, and I don't remember the name of this river right here. But also right here, it's a 1.6 tremor, aftershock from the 4 there, another 1.6 here. Guess what? This 1.6 is 27 miles deep. This 1.6, this is 21 miles deep. This 4.2 is 29 miles deep. Okay? Well, these are fairly shallow earthquakes. For this area, that's kind of a deep quake. Notice what we've talked about these rivers before. Rivers are often earthquake faults. Rivers are often earthquake faults, and that might be the case here. I've not done extensive research on the earthquake faults in Alaska. I've only seen a few of them. But I'll bet you this is a fault line as well. Okay? Let's go further north. I want to show you something. Okay? This earthquake here. This is on the eastern side of Denali, isn't it? The southeastern side of Denali. This is also a 4.0. A 4.0. Folks, this happened at 9:21 a.m. this morning. This happened almost an hour before the earthquake that hit northwest of Anchorage. USGS is calling this 28 miles north-northeast of Petersville, Alaska. USGS, get your heads out of your butts. This is southeastern Denali National Park. Southeastern Denali National Park. It's not north-northeast of Petersville or anywhere else. This is Denali National Park. Over here, look, this earthquake is also fully centered, well, not centered, but right here in the southern part of Denali National Park. USGS is not even giving the correct coordinates for this as well. They're saying this is a 2.1 earthquake, which it probably is, but they're also saying that this is 36 miles north-northwest of Petersville, Alaska too. Okay? Actually 34 miles from Petersville, Alaska. Over here, it's 28 miles from Petersville, Alaska. What's wrong with this picture? It's a lot further than that. How can this earthquake be 28 miles north-northeast of Petersville, and this only being 34 miles? There's more distance between both of these earthquakes than that. There's no way that this could be 34 miles north-northeast when this is only 28 over here. Okay? Again, USGS does not even have its head together. These are both in Denali National Park, and USGS is making it seem like they're someplace else. This is very common. USGS has done this a lot and continues to do it. All these earthquakes here in central Alaska here, this is a 2.0. This is a 1.7. Further south here, this is a 1.6. These are all tremors, guys. Except for the 2.0, these are all tremors here in central Alaska, north of Denali, Alaska. There are no earthquakes above the Arctic Circle here. This gray area here is the Arctic Circle. The Arctic Circle. There's no earthquakes north of the Arctic Circle today. Okay? Just so you know. Over here in the Aleutian Islands, we're seeing some earthquakes. Why? Because we've seen all those 5s and 6s further south, haven't we? This is a 4.1 here. Okay? 28 miles allegedly north of Atka, Alaska. This here is a 4.4 in the Fox Islands of the Aleutian Islands. Okay? A 4.4 moderate earthquake. Okay? Over here in the Gulf of Alaska, that's also on the Aleutian Island fault zone, right here. This is a 3.9, 4.0. Okay? 7 miles deep. 7 miles deep. Now, I want to come here and concentrate on Southern California here. There's very little happening up here in Northern California at all. Okay? We have one earthquake here. This is 100 miles north of San Francisco. This is in the geysers. And it's just not one earthquake. We have a huge swarm of earthquakes here. This is a geothermal area, guys. A geothermal area. Man has drilled into the upper magma chambers of the Clear Lake volcano here. Yes, this lake is a volcano. Man has drilled into the upper magma chambers of this volcano to obtain steam to generate electricity. To obtain steam from this volcano, and what has happened here. I've shown it to you before. There are earthquakes here. Every time man has drilled into the crust of the earth, man has made a man-made earthquake fault. That's why seismic energy has hit these man-made faults, causing earthquakes. Rock fracturing in the ground. This earthquake is a 1.1 that I have highlighted here. Let's see if we can find a turbine here. Because all these roads here, all of these roads lead to a turbine facility. There are 80 different turbines here in Sonoma County in the geysers facility. 80 different turbines here. The steam is pumped to the turbines so the turbines can generate electricity. That's what we have here. A huge geothermal facility generating electricity. This is in Sonoma County, California. Sonoma County, California. This is a huge facility all over these hills here. Literally all over these hills. Now I can't zoom in far enough today, it's not letting me, but I will tell you this. There are turbines all over here. There are also drill points. On some maps, if I got my other device out, I could show you drill points where they've actually drilled into the earth to pull steam out of the volcano at. And every one of the drill points has these plastic pipes that are pumping the steam from the volcano to the turbine facility to generate electricity. Every one of them. There is a facility right there. You can see the turbines right there next to that building. Like I said, there are 80 different turbines all over this complex. We have probably anywhere from 15 to 20 earthquakes here every day, sometimes as much as 35 to 40 earthquakes here every day. A brand new earthquake here in red, I just highlighted it, it's a 0.6 microquake. A 0.6 microquake here in this area. Okay, right here. Okay, I can't zoom in any further here. Right here. This is again one of the turbine facilities. It's got two banks of turbines here. I think one turbine is 5, or one bank is 5 and the other is 5. 10 different turbines right here. A total of 80 turbines in this area generating electricity here in Sonoma County, California for California Gas and Electric, or Pacific Gas and Electric. Okay? And 4 other conglomerates, including Rocky Mountain Power from Utah. Okay? Look at all those earthquakes here in the geysers. It's huge. It's huge. It's this way every day. Okay? We can go south San Francisco. We don't really see anything here, but they are not telling us either. Just because they don't have the earthquakes listed on the map doesn't mean they don't exist. They do. Okay? Further south here, this is the San Andreas Fault. This is the Pinnacles. Not only is there a fault here, but this is an oil and gas pumping area here as well. A 2.4 earthquake here and a 2.0 earthquake here. West of there, Soledad, California. It's a 1.8 tremor there. Okay? Further south, over here. Okay? This is Carpinteria, California. It's a 1.1 tremor. Carpinteria, California. We go further east. There's something here. Okay? This is over southeast to Tehachapi, California. Okay? This is on the Garlock Fault. The Garlock Fault. They're calling this a quarry blast. A 1.4 quarry blast on the Garlock Fault. Let's look at it. It could be a quarry blast. The quarry is right there. The quarry's right there. Folks, this is a half-mile deep. Unless they are putting holes in the ground a half-mile deep, I don't think this is a quarry blast. This is a 1.4 tremor here on the Garlock Fault. That's what this is here. This whole area here is the Garlock Fault. USGS regularly does this to themselves. They don't tell the truth. They misidentify earthquakes as quarry blasts. They do it all the time. Up here to the northeast of the Garlock Fault, what do we have? Folks, this is Ridgecrest, California. Ridgecrest, California, where we had a 7.1, 7.2 earthquake back here in 2019. Actually, 3 earthquakes, 2 6.9s and a 7.2. One of those 6.9 earthquakes they did away with, and they reduced the other one to a 6.4. Lies, lies, and more lies. How do I know that? How can I tell you that? Because, folks, I identified both of those quakes. They were 2 separate and distinct earthquakes, not that far from each other. Here in Ridgecrest, California. 2 6.9 earthquakes. Then the 7.4 hit the next day. And it may, not 7.4, the 7.1 earthquake hit the next day. And I believe it may have been as high as a 7.5 or larger earthquake. I have reason to believe it was a lot stronger than they said it was. Okay? Ridgecrest earthquake today with a 1.2 tremor here. Over here, Searles Valley. Searles Valley. Ridgecrest and Searles Valley have earthquakes here every day. This is a 1.6 tremor here in Searles Valley today. Okay? That's what's going on. North of there, this is Trona, California. This is 9 miles north of Trona, California. Trona, California is actually down here. Trona, California. Okay? Then we go into Southern California here. Okay? This earthquake here. Right here. This is Culver City, California. Culver City, California here. This is a 1.5 tremor. A 1.5 tremor there in Culver City. Over here, folks, this is Rancho Palos Verdes, California. Right here. Guess what? Earthquakes here. They're not showing them. They're not showing them to you. or anybody else. Earthquakes all over the Los Angeles Valley here, literally everywhere, and even out here to the east as well, and down south here as well. Right here, this is my old stomping grounds just northeast of Escondido, California. Guess what, guys? Earthquake time. This is a 1.8 earthquake 2 miles north-northwest of Lake Henshaw near Escondido, California. There's the lake right there. That was a 1.8 tremor. This one here is 1.2. They say this is 1 mile southwest of Lake Henshaw. No, it's not. This may be northwest of Lake Henshaw. Again, USGS, get your heads out of your butts. Before you tell us where it is, you better check yourselves. They won't do it. They do this misidentification all the time. Okay? All the time. That is my old stomping grounds. I've caught fish all over that area. This, folks, is in northeast San Diego, California. This is Fallbrook. This is near Fallbrook, California. Okay, a 0.7 earthquake. Microquake. Further north and east, this is Anza, California. All this area here, including Aguanga here, this is considered the Anza Borrego Desert area, Anza Gap, what they call the Anza Gap. Earthquakes all over this area. Okay, this is also Anza Gap, Anza Borrego Desert State Park here. This whole area here, Anza Borrego Desert State Park. Up here, this is near the top of the Chocolate Mountains here. The Chocolate Mountains separate San Diego County from Imperial County, California. This is a 1.0 here. They say it's at Ocotillo Wells, California. Ocotillo Wells, California. Just a 1.0 tremor. Okay? You don't see anything else here. Again, they are lying through their teeth. I'm going to show you earthquakes tonight here in the Imperial Valley. They're all over the place. Literally all over the place. Heather, thank you for putting up our Discord channel here. I really appreciate it. I really, really appreciate it. Okay, let's put this map away. I've used the map actually more than I wanted to tonight. I want to show you earthquakes all over. Literally all over. Folks, this is Cabazon. Also considered to be in the Anza Gap. Look what we have here. Tremor after tremor. There are no real earthquakes here. All this is tremor activity. Look at these long duration tremors here. Starting off at just after 5 a.m. this morning. Just before 5:03 a.m. this morning. Look at the tremors. Literally all day long here. Yes, I pulled this seismogram sometime just before 4 o'clock today. Okay, look at that. Look at that. Let's show you another one. How about Cal State Bakersfield? Bakersfield, California. Look at this. Tremors all over Bakersfield. Look at this. Isn't this interesting? These are just minor tremors here. 1.3, 1.4 tremors. Some of them nothing more than 1.0 tremors here. Bakersfield, California. At Cal State Bakersfield. Okay, let's keep going here. I want to go out to Casitas, California. This is Casitas Dam. This is Casitas Dam. Look at this earthquake here. Okay? Look when it happened. Look what happened. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This happened just after 7:54 a.m. this morning. There's a 3.0 here at Casitas Dam in California. You can see the other tremors here as well. Look at this. But a 3.0 here at Casitas Dam. Let me show you where Casitas Dam is. I've got the map right there. Casitas Dam. It's an earth-filled dam across Coyote Creek that forms Lake Casitas in Ventura County. In Ventura County, California, near Oak View, California. The dam is located 2 miles above junction of Coyote Creek and the Ventura River. The Ventura River is diverted to Lake Casitas as well. Look at that. This is where we had a 3.0 earthquake today. This is where we had a 3.0 earthquake today, Casitas, California. Okay? The Channel Islands. We are having earthquakes off the coast of California as well. Let me bring this down where you can see it. These are the Channel Islands. Why are we getting earthquakes here? There are earthquake faults out into the Pacific Ocean just off of Southern California. Earthquakes happen out here. The Newport Inglewood Fault leaves the LA basin here and goes out into the ocean. It's no small wonder we have earthquakes out here. Okay? This is the Channel Islands. It used to be we'd never hardly see anything going on here, but every week we continue to see earthquakes here. Most of these are just tremors. Most of these are just tremors. Okay? There may be a 2.0 earthquake on here. There might be. Okay? There might be. Let's continue on. Chino, California. Chino, California continues to surprise us. More and more seismic activities hitting here. More and more seismic activities continue to hit Chino, California. It used to be we'd see sometimes hit and miss tremor. Now we're seeing tremors and earthquakes. There's a few small 2.0 earthquakes. Yes, we have small 3.0, 3.9s, but these are even smaller than that. They're minor 2.0 earthquakes here. Okay? That's a lot of seismic activity for just one day. Just one day there in Chino, California. Okay? Let's continue. Now, usually we go out here, this is Del Amo, California. This is northwest of Los Angeles. Usually when we go over to this seismogram, this is full of earthquakes and tremors. Look what happened. They turned off the seismograph. They turned off the seismograph at Del Amo, California. Why? Inquiring minds want to know. Caltech, why did you do this? Why did you turn this seismograph off? This area is getting hit. Every day Del Amo is getting hit. How do I know? Because I'm going to show you something. I'm going to show you another small community out in that area. This is Pardee. Pardee is east of Del Amo. Okay, look what we have here. Tremors and tremors and tremors and more tremors. Down here towards the bottom on this blue line here to the center right here. Okay, this is after, this would be about 3:40 a.m. this morning. on this particular seismogram. 3:40 a.m. this morning, we have a 2.0 earthquake here, don't we? Incredible, huh? Earthquakes all over this area. Space Force Al is saying these tropical storms can pop off earthquakes or drop off earthquakes. Yes, we talked about that yesterday because of the weight of the water. The weight of the water sloshing around in the ocean there can force the earthquake faults there in the area to pop. It often happens that way. During hurricanes and cyclones in the southwestern Pacific. Happens all the time. Around Taiwan, for example. We saw that earthquake yesterday near Taiwan. And they got hit with that storm, didn't they? This is Pardee, California. Okay? Let's go over to Moore Park. This is also near Del Amo. Look here. Look at all the tremors. This is what Del Amo usually looks like too. Tremors all over the place. Down here at the bottom, on the red line here. This is after 3:19 a.m. or excuse me, 3:19 p.m. this afternoon. Okay, this is a 1.7, 1.8 tremor here. 1.7, 1.8 tremor here. We've had a lot of tremors here at Moore Park. A ton. This is what Pardee should look like. This is what Del Amo should look like. Okay? But they continue to screw up, don't they? Okay, let's go over to Light Hype. Let's go over now to Long Beach, Anaheim area. Look at this. How would you like to live in a place or work in a place as this? These are non-stop tremors all day long. Each line represents 15 minutes here. Each line represents a 15-minute time period. Okay? How would you like to be in an area that was having tremors all day long? Sometimes we actually have some earthquakes that hit here as well. We've seen 2.0 earthquakes here, and that's what we're seeing down here on the bottom red line. These longer red lines here are 2.0, 2.2 earthquakes, minor earthquakes. And there may be some other minor earthquakes somewhere else here on this seismogram. But because there's so much color, we can't tell. The color only tells us that there's so much seismic activity, you can't hardly see any white here of the paper. It almost obliterates the white of the paper here. Okay? There's one other place that is actually closer to Long Beach. This is closer to Anaheim. Let me show you State Street. State Street, guys. You're going to be blown away. Look at this. State Street usually looks like Light Hype. Looks usually just like Light Hype, but look at this. We're actually seeing some earthquakes here. Up at the top right in the red. Okay, you're seeing 2.2, 2.3 earthquakes there. Over here to the right, these black lines that go off the paper here to the right, also 2.0 earthquakes. This happened after 5 a.m. this morning. After 5 a.m. this morning. Then, down here this afternoon, look what we have here. Okay? Actually, I'm sorry, that wasn't 5 a.m. this morning. Usually this is morning seismograms. This was 5 p.m. yesterday afternoon here at the top. 5 p.m. at the top on the black line. The red line is 5:16. That big long earthquake there is at 5:16, 5:17 last night. Okay? But you see these earthquakes. This one here, this black line here, look at that. This was after 3 a.m. this morning. Let's look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 3:07 a.m. this morning. This looks this looks like it's a 3.0 earthquake. 2.8, 2.9, 3.0 earthquake. 3:09 a.m. this morning. And the blue line beneath that, this would be at 4:39 a.m. this morning. Okay? That's a 2.3, 2.4 earthquake. Over here also to the right on that same line at 3 o'clock this morning, this would be 3:14 this morning. Okay? That's like a 2.5, 2.6 earthquake. Okay? Minor earthquakes usually can't be felt. Very sensitive people might feel that. But this 3.0, that probably was felt. But again, I showed you the earthquake map that USGS gave us, didn't we? Okay, I showed you that. What did it show? Nothing. It's not showing any of these earthquakes at all. And this, folks, is near Long Beach. It's near Long Beach. Light Hype and State Street are only separated by a few miles. Okay? That's a lot of earthquake activity in Los Angeles, isn't it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Let's go out to Miraloma, just south of Loma Linda Medical Center. Remember that? I showed you Loma Linda many times. This is just south of Loma Linda. Look at these seismic activity here. We don't have any real earthquake activity except maybe one. Maybe one 2.2, 2.3 earthquake. It's over on the black line here. Center right here. Okay? This was at 10 a.m. this morning. Okay? This one over here on the right is on the 10 a.m. line, but it's over here. This would be about 10, 12, 10, 13 a.m. this morning. A 2.2, 2.3 earthquake. The rest of these are all tremors here. All these are tremors here at Miraloma. Like I said, this is just south of Loma Linda. Okay? Yet the USGS map shows nothing. Sometimes it will show a tremor here. Not today. Not today. Let's continue. Okay. I showed you State Street. One other one in the Los Angeles area here. I want to show you Walnut La Puente. Walnut La Puente is over on the eastern side of LA. Walnut, California. La Puente, California. This is a volcanic area. This is a caldera. There are homes and businesses all over this area. Yet look at the earthquakes here. These earthquakes here are caused by magma beneath the volcano, inside the volcanic chamber. Look at these. Okay? Yes, we have a bunch of 2.8, 2.9 earthquakes here, but we also have 3.0s. And look closely. The tops and the bottoms of these earthquake signatures have been cut off. The tops and the bottoms of some of these earthquake signatures have been cut off by the agency. They refuse to let us see how strong these earthquakes really are. Okay? Let's take, for instance, that earthquake up here at the top on the red, on the left center here. Right there. Okay? That entire seismic signature. The top and the bottom have been cut off. Look out to the right. Okay? You can see the main earthquake signatures here. Off to the right of that, we have a secondary wave, don't we? That secondary wave lasts over a minute and a half. The secondary wave here lasts over a minute and a half. This earthquake here was at least a 5.5, excuse me, not 5.5, a 3.5 to a 3.7 earthquake. This was at least a 3.5 to 3.7 earthquake. Look at the one after that, on the blue line beneath that. This earthquake lasted nearly 3 minutes. Okay? This was at least a 3.0 earthquake. The tops and the bottom were cut off of that. Okay? You can see these other earthquakes too. Some of these other earthquakes, they start off with just tremors, and they go up to 2.0, 2.2, 2.3, 2.5 earthquakes. Others are very much larger than that. Okay? We go down here to the bottom here, on that red line here. Okay? Let's look at this. The black line over here on the right. Okay? The earthquake that you see on the red on the left-hand side, it starts over here on the right on the black line. Okay? This happened after just before 3 a.m. this morning. So about 2:12, 2:13 this morning. We had a bunch of tremors, didn't we? And they continued on. These tremors lasted for probably 3 full minutes. Then they got larger and turned into earthquakes. You see the black line going down here. It's hidden by the green line before that. Okay? Some of the colors mix in together because there's so much activity. Okay? So that black line there, probably close to 3.0 there. It continues over here on this red line, which would be 3:15 this morning. On this red line here, what is happening here? Okay, we have over 3.2, 3.3 earthquake, and it's not cut off. The bottoms and the top of this earthquake signature are not cut off. The earthquake started with tremors that lasted almost 3 minutes. Then it really got going. Probably close to 2.8, 2.9, 3.0 earthquakes. And after 3:15, it really got going here. Okay, we got up to 3.5 earthquakes here, guys. We got up to 3.5 earthquakes continuously. Continuously. Each line here is in itself an earthquake here. How would you like to be feeling the ground shaking like this? People there felt this earthquake. USGS said nothing about it. People here in this area felt this earthquake. Walnut, La Puente, California. They felt most of this seismic activity here. Okay? Up at the top, this was last night. Last night. Down here is this morning. Okay? This happens here at Walnut, La Puente every day. Every day this happens here. Day in, day out. Earthquakes all over the place. And the others, all we have is tremors here. All the other mumbo jumbo here are tremors. 1.0, 1.2, 1.3 tremors. Then it becomes minor earthquakes, and then it becomes full-blown 3.0 plus earthquakes. Okay? This is at a volcano. Okay? At a volcano. Let's go further south. Let's go further south. San Diego. San Diego. This is Mission Valley. The seismograph here is sitting at the San Diego Gas and Electric office in Mission Valley. Okay? They call it Mission Control. Look at the tremors here. Look at the tremors here, guys. These are just very minor tremors. And they don't continue for all day and all night. This is just minor tremors here. The top line is midnight last night. Okay? All you see is a bunch of tremors. And then we see microquakes after that. Usually that's not how it goes. Usually we have microquakes and then we have a bunch of tremors. That's not the case. San Diego City is lucky because we've seen actual earthquakes hitting here at San Diego Gas and Electric. We've seen 2.3 and 3.0 earthquakes here at San Diego Gas and Electric in Mission Valley. Okay? More. There's more than that. Okay? Let's take you over to East County, east of El Cajon, California. East of El Cajon, California. This is Pechanga Indian Casino out there east of El Cajon. Look at all the tremors here. Look at all the tremors here. What is happening here? Why are we getting tremors out here east of El Cajon? Folks, this is a San Jacinto fault here. Actually, no, I'm sorry, it's not. This is the Elsinore fault. This is the Elsinore fault here. That's why we're seeing so many tremors here east of El Cajon. Okay? East San Diego County, El Cajon. Okay? Let's drop over onto the other side of the Chocolate Mountains. Over into the Imperial County. Okay? Let's take you over to the Sultan Sea. Okay? The first place I'm going to take you is to the northeastern edge of the Sultan Sea. This is called Sultan Sea North Beach. North Beach, Sultan Sea. What are we having here? At the north shore of the Sultan Sea. Nothing but tremors. These are good-sized tremors, just 1.2, 1.3 tremors, but they're continuing, aren't they? This is the San Andreas Fault causing this here. This is the northeast side of the Salton Sea. Okay? Let's show you another one. Okay? I'm going to take you now over to El Centro. El Centro Naval Air Station. Look at this. For months now, we've been seeing 3.0, 3.5, and even 4.0 earthquakes here in El Centro. Look at this. We see a lot of 3.0 earthquakes. I don't see any 4s, but I see a lot of 3s. We also see a lot of tremors here. Okay? Juanito lives in El Centro here, guys. Our friend and family member Juanito lives here in El Centro. There's a lot of earthquake activity going on. And people are feeling this out here in El Centro. Okay? Let me show you something else. Let's go east from there to Westmoreland. Let's see, Westmoreland's right here. Look at this. This is the east of El Centro in Westmoreland. Westmoreland is a town of about 5,000 people, 5,000 to 7,000 people. Mostly agricultural, but there is some other warehouse kind of stuff built in to Westmoreland, California. We're seeing tremors here. Look at this. These are good sized tremors, off and on. They're not continuous like we've seen in these other places. Westmoreland, California is moving. Let's go south of Westmoreland. Okay, how about the town of Imperial? Look at this. Look what we have happening here. Okay, this was last night. The top of this seismogram starts off at 5 p.m. yesterday. All we had were some very minor tremors, 1.0 tremors. Then it petered out to even less than that. Microquakes. Then, after 7:15, these microquakes turn into 1.0 tremors, and then 1.2, 1.3 tremors. And over the matter of about 2 minutes, all of a sudden we had 1.4, 1.5, 1.7, and then 2.0 earthquakes. The largest earthquake is here in the center of this seismic event. This is at least a 2.9 earthquake. This is at least a 2.9 earthquake. But look how long it lasted. Look how long this earthquake sequence lasted. Okay? Look at that. It lasted about a full minute and a half. Quake after quake after quake hit here. Okay? There's probably 15 or 18 different earthquakes here. It's hard to even count them because at one point there's so many of them that they joined in color. This was at least a 2.9 earthquake. And then look at the right-hand side of it. This could have been as large as a 3.4. Why am I saying that? Because out to the right, we have a secondary wave. And that secondary wave lasts quite a while. That secondary wave lasted over 2 minutes. So this could easily have been a 3.4, 3.5 earthquake. Okay? This happened at 7:123. It started happening at 7:17. The tremors continued at 7:17 for 2 full minutes. A little over 2 full minutes. Then the earth really started shaking here. And then the secondary wave lasted over 2 minutes itself. So this earthquake probably was a 3.0, 3.4 earthquake. Now, what else happened here? After that, things calmed down significantly, didn't they? They calmed down very significantly. Because after 11 p.m., 2300 hours on the left-hand side, all we see is just tiny tremors and microquakes. After 2300, we had some tremors build up. 1.2, 1.3 tremors off and on here. Then at 11:17 this morning, on the red line here, they got going. 1.1, 1.2, 1.3 tremors. And some of them up to maybe 1.4, 1.5 tremors here. Then it calmed down for over an hour. Almost an hour and a half. Then it kicked into gear again. Okay? Starting off at 3 a.m. this morning. Constant, consistent tremor activity every minute for over an hour. Okay? That's an awful lot of shaking going on. That's an awful lot of shaking going on there in Imperial, California. There's more. There's more. Let's take you over to let's take you to over to Holtville. Holtville is south of the Sultan Sea, over there in the Imperial Valley. It's about 15 miles south of the Sultan Sea. Look at that. This is Holtville. This is the Sultan Sea Desert Research Station in Holtville. Okay, look at the tremors and earthquakes here. Yes, we have some 2.0 earthquakes here. Look at that. That's a lot of seismic activity there in Holtville, California. We have one more seismic, actually two more seismograms to show you. Okay? How about Bombay Beach? Bombay Beach. This is Bombay Beach. Let me take this down for just a second. Let me show you on the USGS map where these places are. Okay? I brought up Sultan Sea here, haven't I? Okay? Let me zoom in here and show you where these places are. Some of you might not know where I'm talking about. Some of you do that have been here with me for a long time. Okay? Over here. Right here on the northeast shore of the Sultan Sea. This is North Shore Sultan Sea. I showed you that in the beginning here. North Shore Sultan Sea. That's where that seismogram is. Or seismograph is. Okay? Over here. This is Sultan City. This is Sultan City. This used to be a thriving small town. Back in the 1950s, this was a thriving small town. There was a good-sized mobile home community here. There were people that were building out here. Every day there were boats out here in the Sultan Sea. There were people partying, people sunning themselves on the beaches of the Sultan Sea. Again, this is Sultan City here. Okay? Further south. This is Westmoreland. When I showed you the seismogram from Westmoreland, this is where it's at. This is Westmoreland, California. Okay? Then we go further south. Okay? We go out here to El Centro Naval Air Station, where I show you the seismogram coming from El Centro. Okay? This is where it's at. A lot of earthquakes out here. A ton of earthquakes. This here is the city of El Centro. There's probably 25 to 35,000 people living out here in the desert here in El Centro, California. Okay? Then, further south, let's see here. Actually north. North of El Centro, we have the town of Imperial. Right here. This is the town of Imperial. This is where you saw that 3.0 earthquake early this morning. Early this morning. 3.0 earthquake here. Okay? Then, over here, this is where I'm showing you this last seismogram. This is Bombay Beach. Bombay Beach. Folks, over here on the eastern side of the Sultan Sea, the San Andreas Fault comes down here into the town of, or into Imperial County here. Okay? You see a small tremor here. This is a 1.0 tremor, Indio, California. Indio, California, 1.0 tremor. Down here is the San Andreas Fault here. This earthquake up here, or tremor up here in Indio, was caused by the San Andreas Fault. The San Andreas Fault comes down the eastern side of the Imperial Valley, doesn't it? Right down here alongside the Sultan Sea. It comes down here and goes underneath the Sultan Sea here at Bombay Beach. Bombay Beach. This is where we see a lot of earthquakes, at Bombay Beach. I'm going to go back here and show you the Bombay Beach seismogram in a second. When the San Andreas Fault comes out from underneath the Sultan Sea, it comes out right here. It comes out here. This is called Calipatria. And as soon as I get through showing you the seismogram from Bombay Beach, I'm going to show you the seismogram from Calipatria. There are a bunch of earthquakes at Calipatria. Okay? Now let's go back here. Let me turn this off. Let's go back here to the earthquakes here. This is Bombay Beach. Look at that. 3.0 earthquakes, 2.8 earthquakes, 2.8, 2.9 earthquakes, and these earthquakes are larger than what they're saying they are. Why? Because the secondary wave, guys. The secondary wave here. What am I talking about? Okay, let's take, for instance, this green earthquake here. Okay, the main part of this earthquake lasted 5 minutes actually. It lasted 5 minutes. Okay, over here on the left, it starts off with a bunch of tremors, doesn't it? Then it really kicks into gear, and we have earthquake after earthquake. So many earthquakes together for about almost 30 seconds. You can't see each individual earthquake hit. All you see is green there. Then it gets a little more sporadic, but you still see a lot of 3.0 earthquakes. And it continues. It slows down and then gets going again. Slows down and gets going again. The earthquake before that, on that red line there, that happened at about 7:22 this morning. It started getting into gear on the red line there. And that earthquake lasted almost 4 minutes as well. This green line here happened at 7:50 this morning. 7:50, 7:51 this morning. And it lasted for about 5 minutes. Look at these other earthquakes here as well. It's all over, guys. It's literally everywhere. Okay? It's literally everywhere. It's all over. It's literally all over, guys. It's almost hard to explain. There's so many earthquakes here. This is over on the eastern side of the Sultan Sea. The eastern side of the Sultan Sea, guys. It's incredible. It's literally incredible. It's literally incredible. Okay. I want to show you another earthquake, and then we're going to close this down. Okay. It's also Calipatria. I just got through showing you where this is. This is it right here. Let me make it smaller so you can see it. Okay? Up here at the top. Look what we have here. We have some tiny tremors here. We also have some 2.0, 2.2, 2.3 earthquakes here as well. That was before they turned the seismograph off. They turned the seismograph off at about 7:45 last night. 7:45 last night, they turned the seismograph off. And they did not turn it back on till when? They didn't turn it back on till just before 7 a.m. this morning. So this seismograph was off for 12 hours. 12 hours. What can happen in those 12 hours? Why are they hiding this information? 12 hours go by and they have not even given us this information. This happens every day. This has been going on for 2 or 3 months now. Usually when we come over here to Calipatria, you would see a full seismogram. Usually anywhere from 150 to 200 earthquakes here every day at Calipatria. Every day. Every day. Over here, there's close to 50 earthquakes right here. Earthquakes and tremors. Okay, earthquakes and tremors. Down here, what do we have? Here, folks, we have over 100 earthquakes and tremors here. Over 100 earthquakes and tremors here. And yes, there's 2.3, 2.4, 2.5, 2.6 earthquakes here. And a bunch of tremors. Okay? The San Andreas Fault, guys. The San Andreas Fault. Why did they turn off this seismograph? Inquiring minds want to know. There's over 150 earthquakes right here. Imagine another 12 hours of earthquakes and tremors. Why did they turn it off? Hurricane Heather says all reportable earthquakes. Absolutely. Even the tremors are reportable. Why did they cotton pick and turn them off? That's what we want to know. Why did they turn them off? There's got to be an answer. It's been going on for months now. What are they hiding? What are they hiding? This is why I don't trust the government. This is an agency that I used to love. One, I was a rock hound when I was a kid. Two, I studied geology and got my degree. What the heck is going on here? The same agency that I used to trust and love. And they're letting us down. There's a reason that people, including myself, have started calling it the United States BS. USBS. It's bullcrap. What they have been doing is bullcrap, guys. They don't want to tell the truth when it comes to earthquakes. They don't want to tell us how many earthquakes have been hitting. They don't want to tell us the actual strength of the quakes. Why? Inquiring minds want to know. Why are they not posting all of the earthquakes, at least the majority of the tremors at the volcanoes? Inquiring minds want to know. They have never, ever posted any earthquakes at Mount Baker. None. Occasionally they will post tremors at Glacier Peak, occasionally, rarely. Mount Rainier, sometimes they don't post anything there either. They will post microquakes and tremors when they get around to it, but I will guarantee you, the few tremors that they showed us is just a small part of what actually happened. Why? Why are they being so secretive about not telling us what is going on? It's not just the volcanoes. It's earthquakes all over the country. It's earthquakes around the world. I want to know about earthquakes in England. Yes, England. There are members of my family in England. Many of my dear friends live in England, including Dean. Lives in England. I care about the man. He's a friend of mine. Ireland. We have EMA family members in Ireland. We have them in Wales and Scotland as well. We have them all over Scandinavia, all over Europe. I want to know what is going on and why. Okay? And the volcanic activity as well. We want answers. We want answers. Folks, it's been a long night here. We're over 2 hours. I don't want to go over 2 hours. Rarely do I want to go over 2 hours. I want to keep it less than that. But we had a lot to talk about tonight, too. Friends and neighbors, watch out for the storms on the East Coast. You folks over in Pennsylvania and north of there up into Canada, watch out. Watch out. You have that cold front coming in off the Great Lakes. You have that water and wind coming in from Tropical Storm Philippe. You got that. Okay? Down south in the United States, look out. Okay? You guys are in a drought down there, and because of that drought, you guys might have some wildfires and wild winds as well. Be careful. There are some winds in Europe, I've been told that. Be careful. There are some high seas around England as well. Be careful. Okay? Anywhere where we live, even down in New Zealand. We've got plenty of family members in New Zealand as well. God bless you all. God bless you all. You guys are everything to me. You really are. You guys are everything. And I appreciate each and every one of you that are here with us. Now I wanted to show you something that I found earlier today. If I can find it here. Right here. I want to share this with you. We have been talking about God helping us. We have been talking a lot about how God helps each and every one of us. Before I get on to this, Heather says, please have a plan. We're talking about an emergency preparedness plan. In case something happens. Almost anything could happen. Any kind of emergency in your life. It doesn't have to be a full-blown disaster. It could be unemployment. You could lose your job. Or your spouse loses their job. What would you do? How are you going to react? How are you going to get by it? How are you going to get through it? Have a plan. Have a plan that takes care and addresses every kind of emergency that can hit your life and your family. Address everything. Have a plan. How about food? How about food? Do you have enough food in your pantry? If not, why not? How about survival food that you can make last for months, even up to a year? We've been asking everybody since I've been on the air for 4.5 years. Have food storage. Work your way up to 6 months worth of food, then a year's worth of food, and then 2 years worth of food. Everybody can do that. Even people in apartments can do it. I'm a living testament to that. When I buy 1 can, I get 2 when I can. Not very often anymore, but I have. And as a result of that, guess what? I have a food supply. And I even have some survival food is here. Some freeze-dried food. Just to add a little bit of heat and water, and I'm good. Okay? How about that? How about water? Have you stored water? If not, why not? You can't get by for very long without water. Why not? Make sure you have that. Heather says she lives in an apartment and she's fully prepared. I'm excited to hear that. I've known Heather for quite a long time. I know she is very prepared. Anyway, let's talk about spiritual matters for a few minutes. God won't fail us, but we can fail God. We can turn our backs on God. Not a good idea, but if you want God in your life, God can be in your life. God will provide for you, but you also gotta wanna. You also have to have faith. You have to put out a little bit of an effort too. God's not just going to walk up and give it to you. Faith without works is dead. It says that all throughout the scriptures, specifically in the New Testament, but it's all over most of the books of the Bible, most of the scriptures. God will provide for you, but you gotta wanna. You gotta help yourself. God will bless you for it. God will increase what you have. God will also give you rest. Take my yoke upon you. Take my yoke upon you, and I will give you rest unto your soul. God will strengthen you. He will give you strength. He will give you mental fortitude. He will give you fortitude to your body so you can handle almost anything that's thrown at you. God wants to be with you. God wants to be with you. Sometimes, folks, it's this way. Sometimes I will be involved in work. Sometimes I'll be in conferences. Lately it's been here in my office, and I'll be totally involved with work, and I will be thinking about God in the back of my mind, or something will be right here on my desk and I'll turn around and see it. Sometimes that's what happens. I know the scriptures. I have my scriptures right here next to me on my desk. I have a set of scriptures in the bedroom. I've got a set of scriptures down in my living room. My scriptures are everywhere. Each of us should have scriptures. Each of us should be reading our scriptures on a daily basis. When I read my scriptures every day, I feel good. I get inspiration from God from reading my scriptures. Being in the right place at the right time. Sometimes it also takes one of you to help me feel the Spirit. You tell me something. You tell me something and help with my spirit. Sometimes that's how the Holy Spirit touches us, through someone else. maybe even a spouse, when you're feeling down or when you're let down because something somebody did or said. Sometimes a spouse can help lift you up. Sometimes a spouse can be near you and let you feel the Spirit of God in them that will help turn your day around. God wants to be with you. God will be with you if you allow Him. Last but not least, I bear you my testimony that I know that God loves you. God loves me. God loves you as well. I know that for a fact. I've talked to many of you in text messaging or on the phone. I've talked to you. I've got emails from you, and we go back and forth. God loves you. He is the one that brought us all together. God has brought us all together. I know that. Please, folks, please let God be a part of your life. Stop being hard-headed. A lot of people are. I've been hard-headed in my life. That's why I can say that. Stop being hard-headed. Let the Lord talk to you. When you're praying, get down on your knees. Be sincere. Be humble. Be willing to talk with the Lord and let Him talk to you. When you are done praying, don't just get back up off your knees and go about your day. Yes, I know some of us had to do that. I've had to do that on occasion. But I find that when I stay on my knees and listen, that's when I feel the Spirit talk to me. The still small voice talk to me. The Holy Ghost talking to me. God revealing truth to me. I've had that happen. It's been revealed to me, given to me. Sometimes it's through someone else as well. God touching someone else who's in our lives. He wants us to know what's going on. He helps us. There's no doubt in my mind that I don't believe. I do believe. God will bless you if you will let Him. I bear you that testimony. I know that God lives. He loves each and every one of us. Folks, before I leave, please share this program far and wide. Don't let YouTube get the better of us. Share it far and wide. There's nothing here that isn't valuable to someone else. Share with your family, your extended family, your friends, your neighbors, the people you work with, and even your social media contacts. Everybody needs to know this, what we're talking about. They deserve to have this information. I talked a lot about earthquakes. I've talked a lot about weather, because this is what's happening to all of us, that we're going to be affected by it. Please, folks, take care of each other. Love each other. Reach out and touch someone today, tonight, and tell them you love them. A family member, a spouse. Let them know that you love them. Sometimes that's all they need. Sometimes they want that more than anything. And for you to tell them that, it opens their heart. It will open their heart and their minds. Let the Lord in. Let the Lord in to bless you, because I know He will. Now, folks, tomorrow we won't be on the air unless there's something major happen. And that could happen. It has in the past. We take Saturdays off. But if something does happen, I'll be back on the air to tell you about it as soon as the information becomes available. We will be back on the air on Sunday at 12 noon, or just thereafter, with Come Follow Me, the Savior Said. Come Follow Me, the Savior Said. Let me tell you where we're going to be here. Okay? Let me just briefly tell you where we're going to be. We've talked about Galatians this last week. We talked about Galatians. We will be into Colossians. We're going to be in Colossians. We're going to be talking about Timothy and Philippians as well. So be here with us. It's going to be a very enjoyable Sunday school class. Okay? I want to thank each and every one of you for being here. Demon Catman, you're an awesome man. Thank you so much for everything you do for me and for our group, our family. God bless you all. God bless our mod squad. God bless Don Patoka and his dear wife. His wife is still having some problems. Don needs our prayers as well to be lifted up. Sharon, you and Dennis as well. God bless you all. Heather, she needs blessings as well. God bless each and every one of us. Thank you all for being here. You guys are special. You're very special. God bless our countries. God bless our countries. God bless our families. God be with you until we meet again. We will see you on the other side, guys. Have a great night. We'll see you soon. Good night, everybody.